The drama continues. Today we're flying for 13 hours on one of the most exclusive airline seats ever, ANA The Room, with the largest business class seat in the world. But is size everything? Our trip starts with a tornado warning in Chicago. First I see my Boeing take off without me. There's rebooking dramas, offers and rejections, and even after the flight I end up with my expensive ticket on a bench in a waiting hall in the Far East. In between lie 10,000 kilometers, sushi, sake, the dateline and hours of sunset above Alaska. Directly after my flight with Lufthansa Allegris, now the highs and lows of ANA The Room. Part of a world trip booked completely by accident. And here we are, ANA The Room. What an incredible cabin, what an incredible plane, and what an incredible time of preparation for this flight, because I prepared at least 20 hours just looking for availabilities, looking for how I could go on this flight and preparing for this flight also. And I really wanted to have a long flight from North America to Japan, just to show you everything about this cabin without time pressure, and I managed to do that, so that's really fantastic. And look at this, I actually went to North America to present the new Lufthansa Allegris business class. Lufthansa step into the modern era, so to speak. Well, ANA has been in the modern era already for years, because look at the seat, it's just gigantic, really phenomenal seat. Large, spacious, modern, so that's really quite fantastic. I'm really curious now about this flight. 13 hours in ANA business class, The Room, from Chicago to Tokyo Haneda. Before the flight, I went to the United Airlines Polaris Lounge in Chicago, which is reserved for Starline's business class guests on international long-haul flights. And with 8 hours between my missed flight and the delayed replacement, I had plenty of time. But what a difference to regular business class lounges in the US. There's very nice spacious showers with all amenities including deodorant, a separate relaxation area with daybeds, blankets and pillows, a decent buffet, an a-la-carte restaurant and a very well-stocked bar with countless free drinks and decent champagne. In a moment we're gonna taxi to the runway. Well, upon boarding we got greeted with a welcome drink that was a selection of orange juice or champagne. Then there was already the amenity kit at the seat. Also the menu was at the seat, some slippers and also like a mattress for the seat for later to sleep. And before we take off, let's have a look at the seat right now. Well, today has been pretty insane. I got up about 14 hours ago in Montreal, because the whole connection is Montreal, Chicago, Tokyo to Hong Kong. One of the best and most valuable redemptions for 71,000 miles on Lufthansa Miles and More. I will talk about all the costs, about how to book this flight and how to book it much cheaper than with the official price later, and not only miles but also regular. So when I started in Montreal, the first little flight to Chicago was more than 2 hours delayed because of some tornado warnings in Chicago, and really when I arrived in Chicago I saw my plane to Tokyo just take off. That's how it was. What followed was running back and forth between all kinds of ticketing offices because I was automatically booked onto Cathay Pacific directly to Hong Kong. But I don't do this here for my own joy or just to relax a little bit until Hong Kong, but I want to show you this very special product. So I had a lot of discussions, but very friendly ones, running back and forth, and now I'm sitting here on A&A, the room on the Boeing 777. So all the insisting and not giving up was really worthwhile, and we can experience and really check out this very special cabin all together.
Instead of Narita, I got booked onto the other ANA flight that goes to Tokyo City Airport Haneda. With Haneda instead of Narita being the new destination airport, my onward ticket to Hong Kong also had to be rebooked, of course, and that was not available again until the next morning over there. As a result, I also lost the flight with Cathay to Phuket by half an hour, and there too it meant yet another night in Hong Kong, the whole domino effect. And what happened to my luggage? It was also rebooked several times in the background and arrived in Hong Kong just as regular. My reliable travel partners this time were again the suitcases of Level 8, which I can only recommend. Thanks to the special layout and the great interior, even larger items can be packed into the Level 8 Voyager, and the extra handle on the front means that the fully packed suitcase does not cause back pain when lifting it into the trunk. In addition, there's this elegant aluminum carry-on which is just as high quality on the inside as it is on the outside, and it moves like on its own on super smooth wheels. With the link and the exclusive discount code in the video description, you can get all Level 8 items with an additional discount. Just click on the link and enter the code when you check out, and then enjoy your great new luggage.
We've reached our cruising altitude, and let's have a look at the menu now. This is not only the food menu but also the wines and beverages, and on a Japanese airline, of course, you have to look at the Japanese beverages. So we have 3 different kinds of sake, 2 different kinds of shochu, we have champagne, that's Drapier Premier Cru Brut. Then we have 2 different kinds of red wine, 2 different kinds of white wine. We have beers, we have of course Japanese beer and also whiskey, because of course Japan is a very well-known whiskey country, and Suntory is the most famous or most known brand. Anyway, Suntory is not only known as a whiskey company, but also the sponsor of the most important concert hall of Japan, also one of the most renowned concert halls in the world, the Suntory Hall in Tokyo. I had the honor to sing there already, and that was really a fantastic experience, and I will have the honor to sing again in Tokyo next year during the expo time. Not for the expo of course, but for the Opera House in Tokyo. I'm gonna sing a world premiere of actually today's most important Japanese composer, and I'm really looking forward to that. Of course there's gonna be a report about that too, about the opera and about Japan, the country. And then there's of course the food menu. You have the option between international and Japanese cuisine. I will of course choose the Japanese cuisine, and for international cuisine you have a choice between meat and fish, that's halibut, and I think a sirloin steak. As a starter before the appetizer, it's gonna be the same no matter if international or Japanese. It's gonna be caprese or smoked salmon canapé, and also dessert and cheese is gonna be the same for both. It's gonna be dessert, cheese and fruits. Then there's some light bites in between. You can have like soup or a salad or some little sandwiches. And then there's gonna be another service before landing. So let's see what that's gonna be, and if we're gonna be hungry. Out of experience we will be, because of course I want to show you all the choices. So I really want to make sure to not disturb any other passengers on this pretty expensive flight. I will talk about the cost a little later in this report. So I just put down the bed a little before before the food service starts, just to have a look at the bed, because it's so impressive. Really, I'm really stunned. It's super wide. Look at this. Incredible. It's actually like a small double bed until maybe your hips, and then for the rest of your legs it's like a single bed, but it's really a lot of space. Very impressive. And actually I've never seen anything like this in business class, and I have to think now first class. Actually I've never been on a bed that wide. Maybe you've seen some of my first class reports. That's for example Cathay Pacific first class, but especially Etihad first class apartments and Singapore Airlines first class suites. These have real beds. I mean, that's real beds. Here it's just a seat. But those beds are not as wide as this seat. This is really stunning. I've never seen anything like this, not in business, not in first class. And for example, Q Suite is nothing compared to this. This is so much more space. Very impressive. And then this whole seat is so well thought out. They really thought everything through. You have this huge TV set, bigger than in any business class I know, and I know quite a lot of them. And then you have the mirror, for example. You can put the mirror in a way that you can see yourself right away. Then, for example, the socket, the power socket and the other USB plug are nicely covered by the screen here of the little cupboard here. So all in all, it's all very well thought out and so impressive. And of course, you close the door, then you have total privacy. An incredible seat. And then what is very special about this seat, but that's also the same with Q Suite, is that the seats directly by the window go backwards. Whereas when you're sitting more towards the aisle with a little desk here, you would face forward. But during the flight you don't really realize, you just think, well, where's the jet actually, where's the engine? And then you see it's actually there, although because you fly there. I planned to be on a daytime flight, but I'm not, because I arrived in Chicago very delayed because of a tornado warning, and really I saw my plane taking off in the moment when I landed, so the drama was really big, you can imagine. But I'm here now in this very beautiful seat, so I'm really happy. So here's something that's not so fantastic about this cabin, and that's the headsets. They're not only for really tiny ears exclusively, but they're also not really noise cancelling. Maybe they are. I think they actually are not. There's some really good ones in the competition. Some of the other airlines have really very good noise cancelling headsets. Not many, but some do. And it really makes a big difference when you go on a 12, 13, 14 hour flight and you just can enjoy beautiful music or a beautiful movie without really realizing that you sit on a plane. That's really quite amazing. Here it's just amazingly not so great.
Despite the great TV screen, ANA's entertainment is the surprising low point here. It's a shame that the movie selection is only average and the options of TV shows and the audio library are even poorer. And on top you get inadequately noise-cancelling headphones. The flight show on the other hand is really great and can also be controlled from the remote control. Another highlight is the external camera, which is not a given on a Boeing 777. And now it's time for dinner, and here it's completely different to other airlines in the world. May the exciting guessing games and riddles begin.
I did have the chance to work in Japan already. I mean, to sing there, to perform there. And after the last time, I also spent 3 weeks, I think, for vacation there. It was really fantastic. And I do know what is sushi, what is sashimi, and what is miso soup. Yes. Maybe also okonomiyaki, I think that's the name for this kind of omelette, but then that was it. And thank God we have the menu, otherwise this is just solving a riddle. And I think this should be the jellied scallop. Looks quite nice with, I think this is salmon roll. And then there's a Japanese omelette, it says, with fish paste and chicken green onion roll. I don't really see that. Should be somewhere. And then I have no clue actually, but it looks also amazing. So let's try. So let's see. We don't pretend here. We are very honest. I know quite a lot about food, but I'm honest. So let's see. I think this is surimi. No, that's really snow crab. So it's not what I thought. So this is asparagus tofu and fish roll. And I just tried it for the German version of this report. And, well, here it is. It's just unbelievable. This has nothing to do with tofu, but really nothing to do with tofu as I have known it until right now. It's creamy, it's delicious. It's really not. If somebody told me this is tofu, I would not believe it. Fantastic. Now I found out how it works. We're gonna have now zenzai, and this is this little plate here, and that is jellied scallop with paprika and yuzu stock. Yuzu is a citrus fruit, and that's this. Then we have Japanese omelette with fish paste. That's that. Then we have chicken and green onion roll. I don't know where it is, but I guess it should be this here. And then we have deep fried cream cheese with fried nori. Here. It's kind of a riddle, but it fills your stomach in a very delicate way. Very, very solid. So this is really interesting now. When you look outside, it's getting actually brighter and brighter, even though it's getting later and later at night. And the reason is we go northbound towards Alaska and the Bering Strait. And you see this is mid of May now, and there's more and more sun, of course, the more you go to the north. And very interesting. It's getting more and more night, and outside it's getting brighter and brighter. Well, being light doesn't mean that the sake is really light when it comes to the alcohol, because it's 16 or 19%, so that's quite a lot, and I can really feel it. Wow. And the good thing, we have mackerel as a counterweight. It's a very good and fatty fish. It's also very close to tuna, and we know the Japanese, I'm very sorry Japan, but yes, it's true, they actually ate up almost all the tuna in the seas. So now we have mackerel. Very good fish though. So I got some cheese and some fruit and some white chocolate muffin, and with it some Key Royale. So that's champagne and blackcurrant, yes. Maybe they put cava instead of champagne, which is totally okay. I mean, why put the amazing champagne with the blackcurrant?
Unfortunately, A&A does not have good coffee on board, but you have the option to buy me a cup of coffee and keep me awake during my long nights editing videos. Buymeacoffee.com is your chance to support my work with the amount of a cup of coffee. You can buy me one or more coffees, and you'll find the link right now in the top right of the window and in the video description. It's even easier with a super thank, and you can find that directly under the video. You would make my day, because I really try to keep Travel Sing Fly as non-commercial as possible, and unfortunately tickets for the report still don't grow on trees. Really, I checked. But now comes the amenity kit. The ANA Business Class amenity kit on this flight was a little pouch with Ettinger branding, and it contained socks, a shopping bag like from a drugstore, and hand and lip cream by Aveda. However, you could help yourself to other things in the galley, such as wet wipes, sleeping masks, face cream, toothbrushes, but everything again was wrapped in extra plastic. You can also borrow pajamas and a cardigan for the flight.
So after some pause, I'm back. I rested a little, I watched a movie. I didn't really sleep, although that would be very easily possible here. There's enough space on the seat. I just always think I miss something when I sleep on a plane, even after way over 1,000 flights in my life. That's so crazy, but that's how it is with me. You see, I'm wearing a pajama. Well, first about the bed. Look at the bed. It's incredibly wide. While I sit here, while I lie down here, somebody else could still sit next to me. Of course, lying down is only for one person, but other than that, it's just incredibly wide. The widest seat I've ever seen in business class, including Singapore Airlines and all those. Qatar, of course, much bigger than Qatar. Very impressive. You see, I'm wearing pajamas and a cardigan, and that's rented pajamas, so that's a free rental. You don't take it home like on Qatar Airways or Air India, for example, where it's a gift. But here you just rent it for free and leave it on the seat. And that's so much better than all the other airlines where you don't get PJs and you just sweat through your clothes for 12 plus hours. So that is really so much nicer. I also tried some shochu during the flight, during the dark hours. That's a traditional, quite alcoholic drink. One was made of sweet potatoes, one was made of barley, and it was really very nice to try, very interesting to try. You can taste there's a big tradition behind it, and it was not really my taste, but I'm happy that I tried it. Now it's still 2 hours until Tokyo Haneda, and I think service is gonna start very soon, and we already passed the the date barrier when you just get into a new day, and we just passed that. So even though we go with the time, we really jump over one day and arrive a day later. So 2 hours until Haneda, and now they're gonna have a service before landing. It's still an hour and a half until Tokyo Haneda, and now we got the second new service. It's a light meal, but it's quite a nice amount actually. So we have some cognac noodles. Cognac, I think cognac, that's actually made of a seaweed, or it's kind of a seaweed if I'm not completely wrong, and it's mixed with spicy fish roe. And then we have some pickles, like vegetable pickles. And then we have some fish, that's amberjack fish and simmered. And then there's some rice inside this, nice rice, and miso soup. And then I got some sparkling water, some Perrier, and I asked for some more champagne because I had just a glass before and it was such a dry flight, right? Anyway, I just want to have another glass of champagne, and I won't have alcohol for the whole next week, that's for sure. Now, before I change back into my regular clothes and talk about how this flight was altogether, let's talk about how I booked this flight, how much did it cost, and how you can book this flight also without spending really the money that you would spend on a non-stop flight from Chicago to Tokyo on this plane in this cabin class. Well, first of all, why am I actually on this flight from Chicago to Tokyo? That's not really around the corner from Germany. Actually, I needed to go to Thailand from Germany. Maybe you know, my only remaining relatives that I have a very, very small family. The remaining ones all live in Thailand. So I need to go there really quite urgently. But before that, I wanted to show you Allegris business class of Lufthansa, the very new business class of Lufthansa. That's a report that's out already. I was very quick with that. And it's quite entertaining to watch, quite interesting also. It's a business class that has 7 different seat types. Altogether in the cabin you can book 13 different seat times. So why do it easy or simple if you can make it complicated? Anyway, that's why I'm here in North America, and from here I go straight on to Thailand. Almost straight, because I go from Montreal to Chicago to Tokyo to Hong Kong now, and then I will go on to Thailand. Why not all the way to Thailand on one ticket? Because I booked this here with miles. This is an award ticket of Miles & More by Lufthansa. It's 71,000 miles plus $250 in fees, or $300 in fees. And that's actually more or less the best redemption you can make, because it's 21 hours of flying in business class, a really very long route, and you still only pay 71,000 miles. I go on from Hong Kong to Phuket in Cathay Pacific economy class. I hold a status there on One World, and I can take a lot of luggage even with an economy class ticket, so that made total sense. And therefore I just pay 71,000 miles on this flight. First of all, Air Canada from Montreal to Chicago, then this ANA to Tokyo, then regular ANA business class to Hong Kong. Quite amazing. But you can also book this flight, for example, with live miles of Avianca. Avianca is a South American airline that has a mile program, or an award program, where you can buy miles quite regularly at a very good discount. And with that, you get a price for this flight at a fraction of the real, official cost of this flight.
Especially in view of the yet again increased fantasy fees at Miles & More for award tickets with Lufthansa and friends across the Atlantic, it's worthwhile taking a look at live miles, and the availability here is often very good. If you like this and the well over 100 flight and travel reports on the two Traversing Flight channels, then please give me a thumbs up, comment on the video and subscribe to the channel with the little bell next to it to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the exciting videos that are released here. You'll help the channel with all its free content to grow and become more visible. Keep looking around Traversing Fly, there's for sure a few more reports that are just the right ones for you. It's so great to have you here.
So it's 45 minutes until landing, and they just said that we're gonna have some turbulence. It's just before landing, so everybody's sitting already and preparing for landing, maybe also preparing for turbulences, who knows, inside. Anyway, how was this flight now? First of all, I think I don't need to say much about the seat. It's just stunning. It's so wide, so spacious. It's wider than Singapore Airlines, I'm very sure. And of course much wider for the feet than at Singapore Airlines, much more space for the feet. Then also wider than Qatar Airways, because where I sit now, just next to it, there would already be the console with the storage. Well, here's not much storage. Qatar would have that storage. But this is so much wider than them too. Altogether, it's a very good seat design. When you go down to the bed, you get this very nice bed cover, or actually mattress cover, seat cover, and you have this very nice blanket. Very nice, very light, but feels almost like a feather blanket, but it's not, of course. I'm sure not, because it has to be non-allergenic. So that is also very comfortable, very light, but a really nice comforter. Then you get the pajamas for rent, for free, so that is really also very nice, very comfortable. And most airlines just don't offer pajamas at all in business class, so that's also fantastic. The food was really great too. It's Japanese, that's what I ordered. Japanese portions are not very big, but they are delicious and really excellent, and that's what it was. Of course, you can always have snacks in between. Then the drinks were also, of course, Japanese, with a lot of Japanese drinks, Japanese beers, Japanese whiskeys, Japanese sake and shochu. And then we have also some wines, and we had a good champagne. So that was really nice with the Drapier Premier Cru, a nice champagne, really good. Then the bathrooms were always clean. They really took care of the bathrooms. They looked after them, so they were never really dirty. And what was really nice is this little thing that you can step on, this pedestal that you can step on if you want to change. So you don't need to walk around a dirty bathroom, step on other people's urine while you want to change, because here they have the pedestal, you go on it and keep your feet clean. How nice is that? And the staff was very nice. They're not like outgoing like European or American style, for example, but they're very friendly. If you need something, they're really there. They're very, very polite. So that was also nice to see, actually. So altogether, a really good experience. If you get a price that is okay, this is really an experience. You should really try it. It's very close to first class, except for, of course, the super high class food that you would get there then, and maybe a completely unrestricted bed. Other than that, it's really very good. So altogether, if you get a good price for this ANA, the room, you should really try it. It's quite an experience, a very good one, and I'm happy I did this, because I could have just flown very easily from Chicago to Hong Kong. They offered it to me for free as a rebooking, and I said, really no, I want to do the not so comfortable way. I will go to Tokyo and show you the room, ANA the room, and therefore probably sleep now in the airport of Tokyo on the floor, because I don't know how I will spend these hours until my next flight, but it was all worth it. So here you go, you have the report about ANA the room, absolutely worthwhile trying out, and let me know if you're gonna be on ANA the room in the near future. So my dear ones, we've landed at Tokyo Haneda Airport after Etihad Business Studios, Etihad First Class Apartments, Singapore Airlines First Class Suites. We've now seen ANA The Room. So much real estate within some airlines. Who would have thought that? I hope you really enjoyed this report. If yes, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. That's lots of aviation reports and destination reports waiting for you here. And one that's really interesting is this one over here. Check it out and see you again very soon here at Travel, Sing, Fly. I'm here in the big hall of the airport, Haneda. I thought I could go to the lounge because there's one lounge open in the whole airport in Terminal 3. I'm in Terminal 2 and I'm not allowed to go to that lounge because it's in Terminal 3. So I just found out now, just too late to go find a hotel for the night, because then I have just way too short times that it makes sense to come back here again right away. So what was first a joke is becoming now reality. I'm gonna spend the night or a couple hours here on a bench in the airport. Isn't that crazy? So luxurious.